One factor in playing some interesting guitar is to be able to get up and down your neck and play triads in different inversions. Especially if you're playing in a band where somebody else is playing all the chords you already know, the first ones you learned. These are your campfire or your cowboy chords, your G's, C's, and D's, etc. It's really nice if you can go somewhere else and play those G's, C's, and D's in other voicings in different inversions to give this song a new layer. If you know those chords, you can also add different elements, different rhythms, getting a little funkier sound, or you could play arpeggios. That again was just a G, C, D pattern. While we learn these, we'll learn them one at a time. I'll do the D scale in its inversions in chords. So we'll go through all the notes of a D scale, put the appropriate triad on it as we go down the neck in one inversion right now. This would actually be called the 3 on top. The D chord, we have the D here, the root. The 5 is the A, the 3 is the F sharp on top. So we'll be doing these with a third, the D and F sharp on top, and the 5th on the bottom. In a quiz or a test, when asked to play these, you'd be playing on the top set of strings. A triad is 3 notes, so we'll be using the top 3 strings. You would have 3 notes on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then the 4th, 5th, and 6th as well. So this would be the top set, and they would say in the key of D, so there's your D note, with the 3rd on top, and that would be the set you'd be asked for. You could be playing root on top, like you would see in an F chord, or 5 on top like you might see here in a B flat chord. Each one of those we want to master on 4 sets of strings. The first step we've mastered was playing a 1-string scale. I'll start on D. Scales are whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So whole step, half step. So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, and D. Then we took those notes and we looked at the remaining part of the scale on the other string. So if I had D and E, the 3rd note is F sharp, so the 3rd is on this string. F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, that's the end of the octave, but we're going to keep going. E, F sharp, G, actually F sharps is how I'll go. F sharp, E, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, and D. So that way if we know them on the first string from F sharp up, the 2nd string from D up, we can combine them in thirds, which we have here. So D and F sharp, as we know, in a D chord, would be the major third. When we go to E, it's going to have a G note with it. Notice that's further back. Because it's actually further back, closer to the head of the guitar, it's lower in relation to the E note. It doesn't look like it, but that means it's actually closer to it. This is a major third, 2 whole steps. E to G is a minor third, a step and a half. If I found the G here, there it is, a step and a half away. But we're putting it on the 2nd string. But we're putting it on the 1st string, sorry. So we have major third for D, minor third for E. F sharp is our next root. It's got a minor third with the A note. That's been the 1, 2, and 3. You know the 4th chord and the 5th chord are majors, so the 3rd going with them would be majors as well. G at the 8th fret, B at the 7th, major third. A at the 10th, C sharp at the 9, major third. We're back to minor thirds, B and D, C sharp and E, and then we finish off with D. This 15th fret of D, 14th fret F sharp is the octave. We finished 1 octave there. So it was major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, major in thirds. We used those in Brown Eyed Girl. Major, minor, minor, the same pattern. So that's what we have pictured here. The D with the F sharp, the E with the G, which is a minor third, F sharp with A, which is its minor third, G with B, major third, that's the 4 chord, A with C sharp, the 5 chord, major third, B with D, minor third, C sharp, at the 14th fret, E at the 12th, minor third, and D at the 15th fret with its F sharp is the major third. So those are the notes that define the chords. Major third, minor minor, major. Notice this nice pattern when you're dealing with thirds. You can think of it as major, minor minor, major major, minor minor, major, or two halves that are identical. Major minor minor major, major minor minor major. When we do the chords, the triads, that pattern's identical. Major minor minor major, major minor, except the seventh is diminished. The third is only a minor third, but the 5 on that chord is also flat or diminished. So it's a diminished chord when we do a triad. And then we end with major. So we know what a D major chord looks like. This nice tight isosceles triangle. The minor, you know what a D minor looks like. It's like a scalene triangle. It gets pulled out here where the F is lower. So D is major. We could use the minor shape on E for the minor chord. We have a G, the third, the minor third, the E, the root, and the B, the fifth. F sharp is going to be a minor chord as well. So we move that chord up a whole step. That's minor, so major, minor, minor. 1, minor, 2, minor, 3. 4 is major, and we're at the half step in the scale. We've gone, here's our root. Whole step for a minor chord, whole step for a minor chord. Half step, when we go only a half step, we change values. So now it's a major chord. G major, the 4 chord. Whole step, the whole chord goes a whole step up to the A chord. Now it goes a whole step to B, but the top note only goes a half step, turning this into a minor. We go a whole step to C sharp, but the fifth only goes a half step to a G. This C sharp then has a flat 3, the E, and a flat 5, the G. Notice the root of this chord just appears to be 1 fret further than it would be with a major chord. This is really valuable to know. If the 3 and 5 are flat relative to the root, then the root is sharp relative to the 3 and 5. So when this root goes up a half step to D, and we want major, the 3 and 5 come up closer. As I back down to the C sharp and diminish it, I flat the 3 and 5. Now only the 3 is flat on the B minor. Back into our triangle for A and G, half step down to F sharp, whole step, entire chord down a whole step to E minor, and then a whole step down to the D major. So we have D major, E minor, F sharp, E minor, G major, A major, B minor. I usually bar this on the C sharp rather than stretch. C sharp diminished, and D. Kind of missed one there. So that's the key of D. You can use it as a template, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. You can use it to see where the half steps are going. I'll fill in those chords now. So D is major. You see the triangle shape. E is minor. You see that triangle is twisted a little. F sharp is like it, also a minor. The C sharp in the key of D. Here's the G chord. Notice we're back to our original triangle for major. Same thing with A major. This D note is the third in a B minor chord. C sharp is the root of this diminished. And then we're finally back at D. I don't need this G note here. Notice all the half steps and whole steps are as they've always been. On the second string, we have the D scale, D, E, F sharp, G, whole, whole, half, G, A, B, C sharp, whole, 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 and a half to the D at the end. The third note, D, E, F sharp, here's your F sharp, so that'd be whole, whole. Now we're at half, whole, 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 half. So whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Pattern is continuing. We're just starting on the third. On the A, we're starting on the fifth. So it's like we're at this A, whole step to B, whole step to C sharp, half step to D. So that's where we are in the scale. We finished off whole, whole, half, whole, now we're at whole, whole, half, and we're at the beginning of the scale here with the D. Whole, whole, half, whole, and it would continue whole, whole, half. So what we're doing there is running the scale on 3 different strings, starting on the root, the third, and the fifth. That'll be the key to all of our scale tone triads, no matter where we're playing them. Notice when we go from D to E minor, we have the half step on the third. So it didn't go as far, so now it's a minor third. We happen to run into only whole steps here. The E goes to F sharp. I guess I should have put a sharp on my F there, sorry guys. The root, E goes to F sharp, a whole step. Its G, the third, goes to A, a whole step, and its fifth, the B, goes to C sharp, a whole step. So everything went a whole step there. As we go from F sharp to G, we're at the half step F sharp to the G note. We've got a half step from C sharp to D on this string, and a whole step on the top string from A to B, making it a major. All the notes are going a whole step. D to E, G to A, and B to C sharp. So we've got the exact same chord a whole step higher. C sharp to D is the half step, so that turns this into minor. D and B are both moving a whole step to E and C sharp, but the F sharp is only going a half step to G, so that gets flatted into the fifth, and then half step on the C sharp to D, but whole step on the other two, E to F sharp and G to A. You don't have to think of all those. Basically what you'll be thinking of is the pattern. You've got majors and you've got minors. So major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and you have to flat another note for diminished, whether you do it with 2 fingers or the bar. We can do the same thing with an A now on the next string. I'll just play them. I won't actually teach them yet. We'll do them another day. But we'd have major, whole step to minor, whole step to minor, half step to major, that's the 4 chord, another major. Notice these look like the A chord, that's the major shape. And the minor looks like an A minor. The diminished chord, we have to flat the 5 as well. And then we're back to major. So relative to major, the diminished has a sharp 1. The root in the middle is higher. Minor, major, you could bar it. Minors and major. A, B minor, C sharp, D, E, F sharp minor, G sharp diminished, and A. We can do the same with E. We won't, and we didn't really do A there. It's just a demonstration. I'll teach the intervals another day. Thanks guys, have a good one.